Just we can't keep losing guys. There's been some things that have been reported around yesterday or reported on yesterday, and that's Derrick Barnes. So here's what we know about Derrick Barnes. He was back at the team facility this week, and for the first time since a week 3 leg injury, week 3, mind you, 15 weeks ago, that leg injury was supposed to cost him the rest of the season, right? Now, for the past few months, Barnes has been in what are considered the early stages of recovery after the surgery to repair the MCL and PCL tear. So he had two tears. Thankfully, the ACL didn't get impacted, but you're talking 2 tears of the MCL and PCL. Nobody comes back from that in a season. It's never happened that I've ever heard of. Now, he's been doing physical therapy, reported to be done in West Lafayette while sporting crutches and a brace. Now the crutches are gone and the brace is off. And obviously he couldn't be more excited to join the team and be back in Allen Park this last week. His quote, "Got to see everybody. I got to see the coaches bring joy to me. The coach is in there with me and we were laughing and giggling the whole time. So, it feels good. Being away is just not for me. I can't, me and Alex were joking. It was like, man, I won't miss football when I retire, because it's like all the work that I put in, the lifting and the running, I was like, I ain't going to miss that. And then you get away and something like this happens and I miss it all. So it feels good to be back." But here's the troubling story, right? I mean, Barnes' rehab just began in Detroit in the last week. This is phase 2 of his recovery and rehab. So he's been working behind the scenes and along with Aiden Hutchinson, matter of fact, they've been working out the last week or so together. And now Barnes began a very intensive process this week with the Lions Director of Player Health and Performance, Mr. Brett Fisher. Now, both Fisher and Hutchinson are already pushing Barnes to kind of get back and to reach his goals. And Barnes was surprised by his progress already. Now, that's a glimmer of hope, right? Here's his quote. "I didn't know I was going to be able to ride a bike today. I got on the bike. I did a little bit of walking inside the water, which is good. My legs were super stiff. Today was the first day I felt kind of normal." And I'm sure what he means through that felt kind of normal is that he's kind of back in the process again. He's back around the guys. He's back in, around the team, and that makes him feel whole, makes him feel normal. I don't think he meant it made him feel normal from an injury perspective. Now, Barnes didn't really have a timeline for his recovery and wouldn't say whether he's still aiming for a return this season. Now, the focus is more on getting better, each day with, guys that are going through injuries like this. That's the plan, right? Each day just needs to be better than the last. Now, that said, he did admit the success of the team is a little bit of extra motivation for him to get back on the field. Another Barnes quote, he says, "Yeah, of course. I mean, man, those guys out there balling, man, it's amazing to see. I think probably the game days is the most days where I feel down. I'm like, man, I really wish I was there. It brings me joy to see what this team is accomplishing." So is he going to come back or not? Look, I am not crazy. I'm not crazy to say that he would, but I think it's more normalized to say that it's really unlikely that he's going to be able to get back from this. Again, we're talking a month left of football, or a month and a week, whatever it is. And we only have one more bye week after we win tonight, right? So I think it's going to be really unlikely for this guy to get a shot at returning, because the practices are not full go. For the rest of the season, it's glorified walkthroughs. And yeah, they're lifting, they're exercising, they're going through their walkthroughs, they're going through a lot of meetings. But he's not going to have, he'll be able to do a lot off the side, right? He'll be able to exercise off the side, get his legs going again. But is there really enough time to come back from a PCL and an MCL tear, which is, usually a minimum of 3 to 6 months from everything that I've read, 3 to 6 months, 3 being the absolute earliest that you can come back from 1, but 2, that's a whole different ballgame. He was a little upset though about the block that took him out of the game. And he did say this, he says, "I think it should be banned. I think that the offense gets a lot of leeway more than the defense. It's football, though. I never sit there and complain about it. I do the hitting, and then when I get hit, something like this happens. But nah, I really don't agree with the play. But like I said, it's football. It does happen. You know, I would never wish that upon nobody. Now, currently, there is a rule that bans blocks below the waist if they occur 2 yards outside the tackle box or 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. This block, however, clearly occurred in the legal area. I didn't agree with that. When I read this, when I went back and watched the tape, I didn't agree with that. But hey, we'll let them decide what they want to decide. So as far as Barnes, look, I'm not high on his return. I would love to say that he could get back on the field, but again, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be realistic. I don't want to pump a bunch of, clickbait out there and have people believing that we're getting all of these guys back, because, I mean, wouldn't that just be an amazing tale in and of itself, that we get into the postseason and here we are, we're getting 3, 4, 5 guys back. Extremely unlikely, but I'm going to pose this question to you because I've done it before. Even if you get an opportunity to bring a guy back like Aiden or like Derrick Barnes, or like Carlton Davis, which is a little bit different. See, Carlton had a busted jaw. Didn't affect any other part of his body. So Carlton can still do anything that he wants to do. Getting him back is likely, right? That one I would say is more than likely. But somebody like this banging away on 2, surgically repaired ligaments, unlikely. And I just don't want to put, Lions fans in this believing, again, that we're getting all these guys back. But the question is this. If you've been playing this season with a guy that is been relatively healthy, that knows this defense, is playing as good as they can inside this defense, would you want to replace them for a guy that is fresh off an injury that hasn't even played in a game? If you're not playing a week 18 or week 17, it's really unlikely that you're going to have a really good impact on the team in the postseason. We saw it last year with CJGJ. And we've seen it with others around the league. They're not the same player. They're still trying to figure themselves out. And that's the big part of this that I think they have to clear, is the mental part. You can be 100% cleared, ready to go, feel great, but it's the mental part. And I think that's what hangs players up when they come back. And it usually takes 3, 4, 5 weeks or games. Look at J-Mo. When he came back, it looked like he was a little bit iffy, until there's that one play, man. He got drilled. He bent both of his legs over. He hyperextended them, but he didn't suffer an injury. And he kind of rolled off the field. And then he was running up and down the sideline. And I think it was at that point, I can't remember the game. It was at that point, J-Mo's like, I feel great. Like, I'm good. Because he took a wicked hit, had a wicked fall, and he was fine. And to me, that probably cleared the mental for him that he was going to be good.